Hi everybody, this is Diane. I finally have 1 hour, one whole hour that I can stay in here and do some work. I keep thinking, since I live alone, I should be able to spend, 2 or 3 uninterrupted hours in my craft room at a time, but it never seems to work out. But right now, I get in here and do some, and then I have other stuff to do, or I have to go, I don't know. There's always something. But I have done some things on these journals, just not on video, except for this cover. So I have done some things today, and I have another hour that I can do some more work. And so I just turned the camera on so you can come along and see what I've done. And I'm going to try to make some ephemera with these swan stamps today. But you saw me do this collage yesterday. I added this pretty blue button. And I use my wire cutters to cut the shanks off of the buttons. So I was able to do that. And it's, obviously the pink cover, but there's blue in the picture and there is blue in the journal. So I wanted to add just a little bit of blue to the front. So the back is plain. And then I did this one off camera. And again, this is the blue cover, but I added a little pink. There's some pink in the picture, and I added this pretty vintage leaf button, which I also cut the shank off. There's some tatting right there. And the other things I did were I made these fabric tags. You could write on them if you wanted to, or just use them as a decorative element. I'm not sure how they're going to be in the journal. I imagine they'll be tucked into a pocket. But they are made out of a heavier plain, sort of like a muslin, but it's a little heavier than what you usually see in muslin. It was part of a linen, and it was the plain part of the linen piece. And this has a little bit of white chenille, and then a little bit of eyelet, some white sari, and then this picture. And then this one has pink sari and pink fabric. And these are Mrs. Cog's Majestic Swan images. So I made those, and I did some fabric flips. I worked on putting these together last night while I was watching Lark Rise to Candleford. So I used my swan fabrics. I had, I think, 4 swan images on that fabric. And then I used some of the flowers that were on the same fabric. Beautiful colors. That was only 3 swans, wasn't it? 1, 2, 3. I think I had one more. Maybe I only had 2 or 3 swans. Oh, there it is. So I have more than enough fabric flips for these journals that I'm making. And then I just finished working with my Cricut, and I didn't get to do everything I wanted. I apparently need a new blade, and I don't have a spare blade. And I do not want to spend the time going to Walmart to get a blade. So we'll see. What I have, if I have enough here, and if not, maybe I can go in the morning. Although I'd like to have one day where I get to stay home, but we'll see. So anyway, what I did was I cut my swan tag. You can see here it doesn't cut clean because I need a new blade. And then it got to the point where it just wasn't cutting through enough to be worth it. So then I cut a plain tag to put behind it. So I will have to glue this together. And this is from the Picturesque Cricut cartridge. I have the old school Cricut. It's not the digital one. I have one of those and I don't know how to use it. And then I did some pink ones, and this one has a slightly different cutout with the 2 swans facing each other, which is really sweet. And I don't have enough tags, but I can easily cut the tags. Just, I don't need Cricut to cut the tags for the white background. So I'll have enough tags. And then I started doing some corners. Oh, and these came out of the tags that I cut, the blue ones. And I don't know if I'll use the pink ones because they're cut. They're not complete swans. And then these are the corner pieces. So there's that, and then this. And I thought I cut some pink. Oh, I did cut some pink ones. I cut some smaller ones and reversed the image so that they would be corners on the opposite page. But I ended up only cutting 2 because I need a new blade. So I do have a couple white ones that I can get out of there. And I think these are what I had already in my stash, and I think these were left over from some tags that I had made previously and already used. So anyway, I have a bunch of images that I have to glue together. You don't need to watch me glue. Oh, and then I have these. I made them in several sizes, and all I have to do, there's the base. And the only thing that shows on this is the beak. And I'll just glue this on top. And it makes a nice sturdy, when you have 2 layers, it makes it nice and sturdy. So I have that one for, hopefully it'll fit in the smaller book. The one that's, well, it's a bigger book, but the size of the book is, it's going to be 3 signatures, but the pages are smaller. So yeah, that'll fit. I was hoping that size would fit in there. The other books are wider, but they're only 1 signature, so there's that for that book. I started out making this one, and I thought it was too big, and it is, so I'll just save that for something else for some time. Now, after all that talking, let's get to work with these stamps. You may remember I pulled out these banners from my binders, thought I could use them, and I had already pulled out these pretty journaling spots, so I think I'll combine them. So and these were, I think, digitals, they were printables, so I can just cut some banners out of some pretty paper and stamp some more, or just use these. So these will be a decoration on the pages. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to make these embellishments out of, but I have some embossed cardstock that I had already done in whites and creams, and I have this little mesh. I wouldn't call it a handkerchief because you couldn't use it for a handkerchief, so I'm not really sure what its purpose was. Maybe it was just a little decoration to put on your table. I'm going to get some of my crocheted doily medallions that I just cut apart. I'll just bring my little drawer over here. And I'm getting some fabric. I don't know what I'm going to do with these stamps. I'm just going to get a bunch of stuff over here so I can make a mess. And I'm getting some punches. Figure I can use some punches. So let's get to work, seeing what we can create with all of these things. I'm going to set this drawer out of my way over here. So let's start with using a punch on one of these embossed pages. It's just white cardstock that I've embossed. I'm just going to do one to see if I like it before I punch any more. These are blue. Most of the most of the stamps have blue on them. So I'm going to look for some blue. No, I think I will do the distress ink. See how I like that. Bring out that embossing a bit more. I'll take this one. I have 2 of these stamps. I don't want to cover up the whole embossed thing because then I might as well just use a plain one. Plain white. I'll just offset that. What else? I think I might want to just keep it simple and maybe sew it to a piece of plain fabric. I mean, that's eyelet, but or glue it to a piece of music paper. Doesn't thrill me. I have some vellum. I think I like the vellum. Too bad I don't have the scallop in a bigger size. But I do have a circle in a bigger size. This might be too big. Yeah, I think that, well, let's try it. I think it's probably too big. Oh, maybe not. I'm not sure if this punch is bigger. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I feel very scattered. I don't like feeling scattered. Oh, that doesn't show up at all. Let's try this one. I just got this punch. It's 2 inches. I had to replace one of my punches, and this might be bigger than what I wanted to buy, but it might work just fine for this. Yeah. Okay, we're going to go with that. So that's pretty simple. Just gluing your swan to a couple of punched out shapes. Pretty easy, and I can add a little bit of lace or something if I want to, or a bit of seam binding. There. That makes a pretty simple but elegant embellishment. So I'm going to stick down the seam binding first. So I told you I've been watching Lark Rise to Candleford. It was a PBS series. Yeah, it was a PBS series, and I I didn't watch it on PBS. I just started watching it on Hulu. And then I saw in the credits that it's based on some books. And I forgot the author's name. But of course I looked it up on Amazon and I could get the trilogy of books that this series is based on. And of course it's kind of like the Waltons. The Waltons was based on a book by Earl Hamner. But the series ends up, you know, it's all new stories that don't have anything to do with Earl Hamner's real life. So I'm sure that's what this is like. But I think I would enjoy reading the books. But they're kind of pricey. But I might get them anyway sometime. Maybe I'll get them for myself for Christmas. Or I'll tell my children. They're always asking me what I want, and I always say I don't know. Okay, so there's one embellishment. I'm going to zoom in a little. Let's do some more. I love this one. This one is bigger though. I have to do something different with that. Well, let's just do another one of the same size. They're going to go in different journals, so I'm going to use the same embossed paper. Maybe for the other stamps, I could take a scrap of my, a cutoff of my paper that I'm using in the journals and make a pocket and then embellish the pocket with some of the bigger stamps. Is this the one? No, it was not. This was the one. Can't get it in there. There we go. Punches nice and clean. I had to replace the one that I had that was smaller than this. I think it was 1 3/4 because it wouldn't punch clean anymore. Even I tried stamping or punching it with foil and that didn't help. So I thought it was time for a new one. I've had that one for many years and used it a lot. I think I'll just stick with white seam binding. This is Beacon 3-in-1 glue in my bottle that I'm using. This doesn't have to be vellum that backs these because you can't really see much of the vellum, but it does give a nice sheer look to it, I guess. So there's the second one with some black swans. well, I did that wrong, didn't I? I know you were yelling at me. I figure it out eventually. I had trouble sleeping last night. I slept until 1:30. And then I could not go back to sleep. And I was up till sometime after 4:30. I think 4:30 was the last time I looked at the clock. So that's not great. But I have been doing better with my sleep lately. I didn't offset this one because it's a lot smaller. Just put it right in the middle. So I have 3 of these, one for each journal that I'm making. Now, got all this stuff over here and I didn't use most of it. But maybe I'll use it for something else. So I'm thinking I'll put a pocket here. Well, maybe I'll put a pocket here because you can't really write on that page. You could, because it's pale enough, but I probably wouldn't want to if it was my journal. So I could make a pocket out of this and use this as an embellishment. And I will make it 3.5 inches. This paper came with this paper pad. It kind of looks like a lattice. It's woven. Not sure if I like it on that Swan paper though. Maybe this would be prettier and more elegant looking, or that one. I like that one. The swan shows up better on this, so I can just back that. Yeah, let's do that. So now I'm going to have to cut this one. I want this to stand out a little more from the back. Let me try this. Put a little glue on my stamp. I can follow the lines on this paper so I can cut it without my trimmer. too much. Got some more white chenille. Some tattered old antique lace. I do like that. See how it's torn and stained? Okay, we're gonna go with that. I'm gonna just glue these pieces down and then I will sew the pocket on off camera. It's a pretty new bottle of glue, so it comes out pretty fast. And that will be a pocket that I can put one of my tags in. I'm going to move some of these punches. They take up a lot of room. Well, it's going to be the same paper that it goes on. Now we get to pick out a stamp. It's too bad I ruined that one. I got it stuck on the sticky part of the little glass plastic bag it was in. Guess I like that one. I could make paper clips out of some of those too. We'll do the trimming with this light blue paper that has the rose gold metallic. I think that was about a 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4. hope it's not too big, but I want the metallic dots to show around the stamp, and they're spaced kind of far apart. So that's just about perfect if the size is good for the pocket. Oh yeah, that's fine. I think it's time to refresh my little bucket of lace scraps. That doesn't show up very well. Piece of netting. I don't want the swan to think she's going to get caught in the netting, though. That was a joke. Or a piece of coffee dyed cheesecloth. Lovely. Shouldn't have used the Scotch glue because that white might show through. I'll just have to cover up that white glob right there. I usually use the beacon glue with fabric and lace, but I forgot. That looks quite nice. And I will make some more pockets like that, similar to that, in my the 3 signature journal. But let's think about what we have so far. We have some of these guys. We have the corner swans. We have fabric flips. And these little embellishments. And these. So we'll just go through one and see if I have enough stuff. Probably have to make more pockets. I think I'll start right off with a lovely swan tuck spot right there. I'm not going to what do you call it? Distress the white pages, because I want it to look clean and elegant. I just had to trim a little bit where the Cricut didn't cut it cleanly in the curve of the swan's neck. Oh, it's this button. Kept feeling like there was something under the page. It's a button. So I have two pockets, a pocket and a tuck spot on the front half of the book. I don't know if I'll put a swan tag in a swan pocket. Oh, I could do something like this. This is a bookmark, but I'm just going to put it in as a tag. I don't know if that's where that will stay. Oh, I could do one of these. Oh, this is the other thing I did. I just took Mrs. Cog's images and rounded the corners, stapled on some sari silk, and stamped the word dream on them. I'll just put one of those in there. So I do want to cover the back of the pages that have swans, the book pages. There's a swan, and then there's not a swan. And this one's upside down. Is this a calendar? Anyway, I do want to do something with that. So let's figure that out. I want you to be able to write on it. So I think I'll just take some dyed paper and glue it on. This is 5.5 by 7 3/4, so I'll cut it a little smaller than that. And I will use my ATG tape runner instead of wet glue so it won't wrinkle the paper. Didn't get very close to the edge here. I don't know which of these my friend is going to choose, the pink one or the blue one. I'll have to alert her to these videos so she can watch and let me know which one she wants. Makes the page nice and thick. So you have a pretty swan on one side and some writing space. What else do we have? think I'll glue that right there. And then you could glue a picture or a writing spot. Whatever you want to do. Alright, I have some vellum I want to use. This is a textured pearlized vellum. I had used it in something else. I disassembled some stuff when I moved because I didn't have room for all of the books that I had. So some of my early Smash books that I made, I took apart. And this was part of that. So I can put that really pretty pearlized paper here. I think I'll sew that on. And put something on it, decorative. I still have Mrs. Cog's images to use, and this is from a children's book. This must be the, I don't know if it's from The Ugly Duckling. I think it is. And I have the, oh, that looks pretty. The colors are beautiful. This is from Dreams, Etc. So maybe if I just sew a little trim to the top, glue this on, and sew around it to adhere it to the page, I think that would be enough, because I want this pearlized embossed vellum to be the star, that and the swan. Remember I said this looks like it would be a Mrs. Cog's image? It is a Mrs. Cog's image. I got this out of a book, but there it is. I want to keep these a little more simple than the last couple of books I did. I don't want to have to charge as much as I did for the last two books for every journal. I appreciate those of you who purchased those journals very, very much. The steampunk journal and the shabby journals that I did. Oh, haven't done a fabric flip. I can put that one right there. And I have a swan corner to put on somewhere. This can be a little tuck spot. That white doesn't stand out from there, so I'm going to rub a little distress ink on that. Even though I am not distressing a lot in this book, I just want to make it so it stands out from the page. Okay, it's coming along. I think I need to go because my camera's going to shut off pretty soon. I didn't realize how much time I'd been on here. So I got quite a bit figured out for this journal, and I can duplicate all of these things in the other journals. And it's looking pretty nice, I think. So I hope you're enjoying this journal series of the Swan journals, and I will be back again either for more process video or to show you the completed journals. Depends on what I end up doing to finish these books. So thank you so much for watching. Have a creative day, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.